there was a new director's take that just dropped. Before that, I thought it would be good or interesting to note something really quick. So you know the other day, there was this Overwatch 2 spotlight? Well, apparently Overwatch did a little oopsie. And the skin that you're gonna get for drops apparently just hit the shop. So it was like a brand new shop skin. So people who bought this skin could have just waited 2 weeks and got it for free after just buying it. So people were arguing, of course, kind of mad. This is obviously Twitter, so like any negative Overwatch post will go super viral. But there's actually a happy ending because the Overwatch team recognized it and said, hey, there was an unfortunate error where we released a shop bundle that included the Cyber DJ Lucio skin in our shop while also announcing the skin that's exclusive for the Twitch drops at the Overwatch Spotlight announcement blog. We're actively working to process refunds for anyone who has purchased this skin. No action will be needed by those players. We'll be also including a second all-new skin, Flirty Flare Baptiste, along with the Cyber DJ Lucio, as exclusive drops for Overwatch Spotlight. We apologize for any inconvenience and appreciate our community for alerting us to this. See you on February 12th. So on the 12th, you'll now not only get the Lucio skin, but you'll also be able to get the BAP skin that is shown here. But if you actually bought the skin, you'll be getting a refund. I think this is a classic case of the left hand doesn't talk to the right in Overwatch. I realize I did that mirrored just as a streamer, but like I do know my left and rights. I thought it would be good to note because that is actually kind of a W. Yeah, so if you end up buying the skin, don't worry, you're gonna get a refund. If you didn't get the skin, well, now you can get that one and this BAPS one if you tune in on the 12th. So, sounds cool. That's not all that we have today though. We also have this that just dropped, which is a director's take. Director's takes are always blogs from Aaron Keller himself. And it's director's take looking back and looking ahead. Hey everyone, it's our first director's take of the year. The team had a great break and we're super excited for season 15 and beyond. You might have noticed our recent announcement for Overwatch 2 Spotlight, and we can't wait for you to see what we have coming up during the first few seasons of this year. So, for this blog, I want to spend a little time looking at some of the changes we made last year, talking about how they went, and how we want to improve them for the coming year. All while shamelessly plugging Overwatch 2 Spotlight. Let's get into it. We started last year with a set of changes targeted at moment-to-moment gameplay and our competitive systems. We made a set of broad changes to our core PvP gameplay by rebalancing our heroes' health pools, changing projectile sizes, and reworking passives. We also completely overhauled our competitive system. We think that the idea of a yearly refresh to the game was successful and are looking to have a major update to the way it plays every year. However, we want to go even bigger in 2025, details to come in Spotlight, as well as the next Director's Take blog. Okay, I mean, that's a good sign. I think that they've been way too conservative over the years, so that's good. We are pretty happy with the new direction of competitive play. The game is now more approachable for new players, and it's easier than ever to group up with your friends and play competitive. This approach to doing a rank reset worked well and gave players both new and seasoned. I feel like you guys are using seasoned a lot recently, and you know, my chat's been calling me a seasoned Overwatch streamer for a little bit. I'm starting to get a little suspicious. A new skill tier to reach. However, Champion has proven to be a little too difficult for our top players to achieve. As we approach Season 15, we're looking to adjust how players rank into different skill tiers after we reset the ranks again. Our highest ranks will shift to include a larger percentage of our total player population, and we should see more players earn the right to call themselves champion. We're also looking to introduce some new systems to our competitive play, the first of which will be announced in a few weeks. We've heard two primary complaints about the 2024 competitive weapon reward: Jade weapons. One of the biggest criticisms we've heard is how our Jade weapon variants are getting vaulted at the end of the season. Competitive weapons are intended to show your involvement in our competitive queues each year. As time goes by, you'll have a different set of weapons based on how often you play comp each year. I'm gonna let this finish, but keeping competitive weapons limited to the year gives them the ability to tell that story. Yeah, that's a lame answer. Some of you have been hoping for a weapon skin that has a higher end look to it, and we have something for 2025 that is pretty spectacular. So while Jade weapon variants are going away for now, we've got an amazing new weapon variant to collect in 2025 that will be out of this world. Yeah, that's a lame answer. That's kind of a dumbass answer, if I'm honest with you. Doesn't really tell shit. Oh no. We're in year what? Year 8 of Overwatch? In year 7 of Overwatch, I grinded rank and I got 3 green weapons. No, it's not. It's not a story. Like, let's talk about storytelling for a half a second. When you tell a story, there needs to be a payoff, a nice ending, a twist, a lesson learned, a moral of the story, something at the end that makes you feel rewarded. Jade weapons looked back upon are probably going to be like, yeah, we know that these weren't the best. They're not the OGs of gold, and you've already admitted that they're probably not as good as like what you got coming up. So they're going to be the middle forgotten child of it. That's the story you want them to tell? That seems stupid. So why not just have the story ongoing, right? Where you can keep collecting them and keep building them up as you go. And it's like, okay, in the future, now you have to choose, do you want gold? Do you want jade? Do you want diamond? Do you want ruby, right? Like 4 or 5 years down the line. Now you have all of these different ones to choose from. And you're also going to be releasing new heroes. Like at some point, people are never going to be able to keep up with everything, right? Like the days of players owning every gold weapon for every character in the entire game are going to be gone. Like those days will quickly approach and leave. So it just seems like FOMO. I don't like it. I think it's dumb. So I don't like the reasoning for it. I also think that having the two forms of currency is also just preying on FOMO. Oh, so and let me finish on this point. I gave them a year, by the way. When last year, when they announced the 2 currencies, I was a little resistant to it, but I was open to the idea. You can go back and look at my reaction to the season 9 stuff, and I said, hey, like, listen, like, I don't know how I feel, but like, why would you gatekeep it and all these previous points just get thrown in the trash? I don't really like the way that is, but I understand what you're going for. I gave you a year. I gave it a chance. It's a year later. I think it's still stupid. Can't say I didn't give it a chance. So if you disagree with that still, fine, I guess. But like, I feel like I gave it all its time in the sun. I gave it its run, and it's still a bad decision to me. Additionally, we also love the response to drives, and we think it's a great way to end each season. I agree, which is why for the final season of 2024, we're offering double the competitive points you can get. I like that. That's good. Okay, now let's look at heroes. The 3 heroes this past year have been some of our most mobile and 3-dimensional heroes yet. Our quirky and adventurous archaeologist, Venture, quite literally got underneath opponents and shook things up. Juno glided into the scene with a unique vertical range and range to keep her allies healthy. And finally, Hazard brought a new level of anarchy as our first tank that can wall climb. Each of these heroes has introduced a level of verticality that really makes battles more dynamic, and we want to continue bringing new heroes that can be engaging for both those of you, engaging for both those of you who use them and the opponents playing against them. Okay, and I think honestly, in terms of hero releases, probably the best year of hero releases so far. Other than maybe the original season. No, actually. Hazard is horrible. I mean, Hazard's been dominating the game, but that's because they went on break. Like, you can tune his numbers and make him much better. But like, his kit overall though is dynamic, and it isn't like super oppressive. Like, it is strong right now. But if you tweak some of the numbers on it, I don't think it'll be that bad. I think it'll be more than fine in the long run, because like we saw the weakened version during the early access like play early thing. It's a classic example of people not understanding balance versus design philosophy. It happens in Rivals. God, it pisses me off in Rivals. It's so annoying. Where you'll see like someone talk about, let's say Wolverine. Wolverine's a good example, right? Wolverine's like, well, everyone said Wolverine sucked and now he's banned every game. I'm like, well, yeah, people did think Wolverine sucked, but then they learned how to play him. But that wasn't all. They also buffed the absolute shit out of him. So he's buffed and he's better than people thought. So that's why he's banned every game. But like, people don't think that. They're like, oh, you guys you don't know how to play it. Like they don't think about it. And so like, when you think about Hazard's kit on a design level is pretty good. It's just the numbers that have gotten out of control, and they need to be more aggressive with pulling those back after he's dominating like the way he was. But overall, he seems fine. So I would say it's probably the best year for heroes. And Juno was a smash hit. And anyone who thinks Juno wasn't a smash hit is crazy. Looking ahead to 2025, we're looking into how we can make all of our heroes more engaging and unique for players. This is something the team is wanting to change up and look forward to sharing more soon. Did I mention we're going to want you to check out Spotlight? Also, we ran our first 6v6 events last year and early this year. These took the form of 6v6 role queue and 6v6 min 1 max 3. The role queue version accounted for nearly 10% of all play hours in the game for most, in the game for most of its event run. For reference, our role queued quick play mode accounts for roughly 35 to 40% of play hours. This was lower during the 6v6 tests. There's definitely a demand for a mode with this team size, but it's still uncertain how large that demand is. We're going to run a mini competitive season of 6v6 starting in mid-season season 15? Wait, what? We're going to run a mini competitive season of 6v6 starting mid-season 15. Yo, guys, why are you doing it in mid-season again? What the f***? What, again? All right, it's fine. It's whatever. It's still a little early to say what 6v6 places in Overwatch with a decent amount of people playing it. I think that it's personally here to stay in some form, but so far we're not ready to swap the core format of the game. Makes sense. I wouldn't turn it over overnight either, because that's a spooky idea. I think the tides have definitely turned in a lot of ways for a lot of players. Granted, though, you don't know about silent majority. Like the silent majority or silent 5v5 player base has no reason to say anything, because that's what the format of the game is. Like, if you changed it tomorrow, do those people all get mad and leave? Who knows? We don't know. Speaking of game modes, we want to take a moment on what to expect for Clash in quick play and competitive. This past year, we introduced Clash, which was inspired by the original Assault maps, but gave players a chance to attack and defend throughout the course of the match. Clash has had some really good matches, but we've also seen a lot of constructive feedback. Right now, Clash has a few problems, with some matches having a team steamroll and ending the match faster than a typical Overwatch game. It can be confusing as to which point is active for some players. So starting in Season 15, Clash maps are going to be removed out of competitive play? What? As we take a look at these maps and work to find ways to deliver the best competitive experience for all players. Whoa. Opinions or Clash aside, that's the first time in a very long time that Blizzard has admitted fault with something, or Overwatch has admitted fault with something, that wasn't just lip service. And by lip service, I mean like a later apology and then like nothing changed. Actually taking it out of comp is huge. They deleted Temple and Hanamura again. That's hilarious. That is actually kind of funny. But like, you know, cautiously optimistic side, this really makes me think about characters that have like been huge problems for years. And hell, even reworks. Like, I still think the Sombra rework was dumb as shit. Like, nobody likes the new Sombra. Hell, I actually don't know anyone that thinks the current Sombra is better than a previous iterations. But that never got changed, right? And like the sad part about that one is the previous Sombra the previous rework. God, there's so many now. I had to like put numbers over all of them. They like brought in creators and like players to like play test it and like figure out if there's like goods or bads with it, and then they like drastically improved it before it launched. And a lot of people were like, hey, this version of Sombra is actually pretty damn good. Granted, it still had problems with like perma invisibility and like what that can do, especially on a DPS character. They saw in real time how good getting that feedback was before it launched. The one Emong saved. Yes, the one Emong actually saved, unironically. For the one they did most recently, I don't think they did that. At least to my knowledge, they didn't do that. And it's 10 times worse. Maybe this is the start of realizing when things are not good or something didn't work, and either removing it or reverting it. And actually doing it. Not just saying, oh, we'll look into it. Because I'm so sick of hearing we'll look into it. Like if you say to me, hey, this is gonna take 6 months for us to do. Yeah, I don't want to deal with it for 6 months. Figure out a problem, a solution for now that makes it so we don't have to deal with it for right now, and then figure out the solution to the problem in 6 months from now, right? That's pretty damn good. I don't know. I like that. And then you leave it in quick play too, so like it's still more content for the game. We'll keep you updated on the progress we make there. In the meantime, we're going to keep clashing quick play and other unranked game modes. 2024 was a huge year, but I know 2025 is going to be even bigger, and I can't wait for the team to share more in the Overwatch 2 Spotlight on February 12th. It is going to be hard to write this one last time. Oh, sorry, it was so hard to write this one last time, I promise. So until then, let's make a great game. I hope they keep swinging hard. I hope they swing for the fences on all this stuff. Granted, there's no way all of the stuff that's already being made or they're going to be presenting is been made in the last 2 months. You're wondering, Flats, why do you mean the last 2 months? You know what I mean, why the last 2 months. My hope is whatever big stuff they come out with that they're talking about for Spotlight, once they go beyond that, like that's not the end. Like they're like going to the next level, like even beyond whatever it ends up being. So we'll see. But there you go. There's your what is it, 2024 recap, pretty much. 2024 looking back and looking ahead recap director's take.